We all have a story to tell. Some are just beginning, others have been unfolding for years. Welcome to the Shaman Stories podcast. Each week, I sit down with guests to explore their journeys into spirit, the challenges, awakenings, and the moments that shaped who they are today. So take a breath, settle in, and join me as we uncover the stories that lead us back to our true selves. All right, welcome everyone to the Shaman Stories podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy. Today with me, I have Stanley Bronstein. He's an attorney, CPA, life coach, and author. Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy. Good to be here.
All right, so why don't you let people know a little bit about what you do today, and then we'll kind of go backwards to how you got there.
Okay. What I do today is I still do a little bit of work as an attorney, a little bit. But I counsel people, help them to have better lives, lead better lives, be happier, be healthier. Those are all big, very important things to me. I mean, I'm at a stage in life where I'm 66 now.
Oh, wow.
I don't have to work, but I do it because I want to. So that means I can be pickier about what I do. I can focus on what I want to do, and that is helping people and working to make the world a better place, one person at a time. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I like that. And I'll say, I was thinking you were like late 50s, but not late 60s. You're looking pretty good.
It means my nutritional habits and walking habits are paying off. Thanks. Good.
So what got you into, going from an attorney into this type of work?
You want me to start at the very beginning since we've got lots of time?
Sure.
Okay. When I was 8 years old, see, I told you very beginning. when I was 8 years old, I was at school. The lady from the office, Mrs. Cleary, still remember her name, came to the door of the schoolroom and said, "Stanley, your father called. He said you rode your bike to school. He needs you to come home. It's okay for you to come home." So I left school. I got about 1 block away from the school and I fell off my bike. And I realized what happened. My mother had been in the hospital and I said my mother died.
Oh, jeez.
I realized it. 8 years old, and I realized it. I got back on my bike. I turned stone cold, and I never cried. Went home. Everybody inside the house was crying. I did not cry. My father put me in his bedroom and shut the door and told me to go cry. He was busy. He had to plan the funeral and stuff. We're Jewish, and Jewish people bury their dead very quickly. He was busy planning the funeral for the next day. And I'm just in there by myself, not crying, not thinking, not doing anything, dumbfounded. Next day, we go to the funeral home. And I see the casket. It's closed. I started screaming. And I insisted that they open the casket and let me see that she was in there. They did. They didn't want to, but they did. I saw her in there, then they shut the casket. I shut up, still cold as ice. Went to the cemetery. She was buried, still cold as ice. Next month or two after that, I was having, I don't know if you call them dreams or nightmares, where I was dreaming that my mother was getting up in the middle of the night and walking home from the cemetery. And I was living with my massively obese father. Good man, hardworking man, had no clue about proper nutrition, had no clue about healthy behaviors. All he knew was to work hard and make sure I went to school and got my schoolwork done so that I could grow up and have a better life than he did. That's all he knew. And stay out of trouble. Those kind of things. Good man. But 5th grade education, not real sophisticated, in a lot of other ways. And So we just both started eating our feelings. We just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You look at my pictures from them, I just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. A lot of men are proud. They say if they're as small as they were when they got married. Well, I am smaller than I was when I was 13 and I got bar mitzvahed.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's good or bad. Don't know which it is, but it is the truth. And so started getting bigger, went through high school, didn't date as much because women, they were my friends, but they weren't interested in dating, that kind of thing, because I was bigger. Went off to college, same story. I was in a fraternity, did well, but people wasn't interested in dating. My senior year in college, I lost about 75, 80 pounds, something like that. And started getting some interest from people. But I went on a car trip with some friends of mine, and there were cookies in the back seat. And I ate the cookies, and I went right back to my old habits, and the weight all came back on plus more. So lesson number one for people listening is temporary change. You're going to get temporary change, you're going to get temporary results. Permanent change, you're going to get permanent results. My changes were temporary. My results did not last. So I got bigger, bigger, and bigger. Fast forward to when I was about 28. I was working with my older brother, one of my older brothers, and we got in an argument, as brothers sometimes do. And he started screaming at me, as brothers sometimes do. And he said, "You know what you ought to do?" And I said, "What?" He says, "You ought to go to law school." And I said, "Okay." And that's a good idea. And I signed up for the LSAT. A couple months later, I started law school. It took me 4 years because I went at night. I became a lawyer. So lesson number two, you can be talking with someone who's totally full of crap, which he was. You should still listen to what they have to say because some words of wisdom may accidentally come out of their mouth. And you need to be listening in case they do. Because that was good advice that he gave me, and it changed my life. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. And I've told him that many times. So I'm in law school now. I maxed out at my biggest weight, 367 pounds. See this picture right here?
Jeez, yeah.
That's my max weight. Yeah, Jeez is absolutely right. 367 pounds. That's me today, about 145 pounds on the other side. So same person, but not the same person. Mm-hmm. So I said, I need to do something. So my last year in law school, I lost 100 pounds, probably 102 or something like that. I remember I went to Weight Watchers. I got my 100-pound ribbon, and then I rested on my laurels and stopped. Plus, part of the problem is Weight Watchers, while I think it's a better program than many of the programs out there, it was not teaching me healthy eating habits. It was not teaching me healthy nutrition. I was eating prepackaged, processed, Weight Watchers dinners and all that stuff. And it was not the way to do it. But one thing I did learn during the Weight Watchers experience was I used to have a habit of waking up in the middle of the night and eating full meals. I don't mean a snack. I mean full meals. 1, 2, 3 in the morning, full meal. And it takes a lot of work to get that big. It really does. And so I said, I need to break this habit. So I started waking up in the middle of the night. I would go to the freezer. I would pull out one of the frozen entrees. I would look at the picture on the box. And I would say, I know what that tastes like. I've had many of these. I imagine that I ate it. I said, that was good. And then I put it back in the freezer and I went to sleep. So what I learned there, it's possible to taste food without putting it in your mouth. And I've really expanded on that later in life. My wife will be eating something that I know is loaded with salt and I don't want to eat it or whatever. I will sit there and say, let me smell it. And I sit there and I smell it and I go, and I can smell every ingredient in it. I know exactly what it tastes like. I said, that was good. And then I don't eat it. So I stopped eating in the middle of the night. But then I went right back to old habits and I started putting weight back on. However, I only got up to 320. I didn't get all the way back to 367. And the reason why is the old permanent change yields permanent results. I stopped eating meals in the middle of the night. That was good for a 47-pound permanent weight loss. See the pattern? Temporary change, temporary results. Permanent change, permanent results. So but I got small enough to where women were interested in dating me. And I wound up getting married. Still married to her now. It's been over 25 years. And, but I need to back up a little bit because I accidentally skipped one thing. Shortly after I became an attorney, still working with my older brother, life sometimes presents us with an opportunity to heal, an unexpected opportunity to heal. I found out that one of my aunts, one of my mother's sisters died. And we went to the funeral. That was out of town. And when I was at the funeral, I walked into the cemetery. And what did I see right in front of me in the cemetery? I saw a 9-year-old boy and a 6-year-old boy, my cousins who I had never met before. This was their grandmother who died. And the 6-year-old was standing there all by himself with a dumbfounded look on his face, ice cold, not crying. So I said, "That's me." So would you care to guess what I did?
I'm hoping you went over and talked to him.
I went over to him. I introduced myself to him. I said, "I'm your cousin." I told him I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way when my mother died and when I was around your age. And it's okay for you to cry. And I put my arms around him and I did not let go until he started crying. I said, I'm going to be damned if I let the same thing happen to him that happened to me. So all the tears that didn't come out of my mother's funeral came out at that funeral, plus a lot more. And I want to show you an example of how raw the experience was. Can I use a teeny bit of colorful language?
Sure.
Okay. Orthodox Jews do not believe kids belong in cemeteries. They don't like kids going to cemeteries. They don't like kids going to funerals. There was an Orthodox gentleman there, older gentleman, who out loud in front of 20 or 30 people said, "What are these kids doing in the cemetery? Kids don't belong in cemeteries. They don't belong at funerals." Well, would you care to guess what I did? I snapped. I mean, one of the few times in my life where I snapped. I told the guy, that was their grandmother. If there's anybody that belongs at this funeral, it's those two kids. And if there's anybody that doesn't belong at this funeral, it's you, you son of a bitch. You can get out of here right now. He shut up and he did not say another word. But that's how raw it was. And that I had life presented me with the opportunity to stand up for that kid the way no one stood up for me. And I'm not angry that anybody did that, but it's just the case. That's what happened. And so I'll jump around just so you can get the end of that healing part of the journey. A couple of months before COVID hit, I was visiting my old hometown in Texas, Galveston, Texas. And I went to the cemetery. And it was the week before Christmas, and it was a beautiful sunny day. Sun almost directly overhead. It was right around noon. I laid down between my mother and father's grave on the grass. I talked to them for an hour. I told them everything I've done in life. I told them I thought you'd be proud of me. And I thanked them for everything they did for me. And I forgave them for everything they did to me. I realized they're human beings. They did the best they could. They did a lot of things right, and they made some big mistakes too. But that's okay. And then I got in the car and I left, and I went back to the airport and I flew home. So, so that's, how the whole thing wrapped up. But that whole process was like 50 something years.
Yeah.
For that to happen. Now, back to where I was after law school. Here I am. I got married, moved to Arizona with my wife, started my own law and accounting office, working hard, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, putting weight back on. Never got up to my full 367 again, but I got up to 320. 4 months before my 50th birthday, I did what a lot of people do when they're coming near milestone age. I asked myself, where am I going to be in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing? Would you care to guess what the answer was?
Probably be dead.
Yeah, the answer was dead. and guess what? I decided I didn't want to be dead. So, turned to my wife. I said, I'm going to make some changes starting right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. Right now. I'm going on a journey, and I invite you to come along on that journey with me. And I hope you do. You may like some of the things I'm doing, and you may not like some of the things I'm doing, but frankly, I don't care. I have to do this or I'm going to be dead. I said, if you want to support me on this and come along with the journey, you're welcome to come along. If you don't like it, there's the door. You can leave right now. I told her that. And like I said, spoiler alert, we're still married. But I did. That was what I call a moment of healthy selfishness. Sometimes we have to do that. It was my moment. I call it putting your oxygen mask on first. It was my moment where I put my oxygen mask on first, like they tell you to do on the airplane. Yep. When you're traveling with small children. You got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. Right. You're just not going to be there for it.
I agree on that one.
So I said, okay, I'm going to start eating better. I did 3 things almost immediately. First thing I did was I quit drinking scotch. I won't say I was an alcoholic, but I will definitely say I was drinking more than I should. And I will definitely say I was serving the scotch and the scotch was not serving me. Well, I took my last bottle of scotch. I poured it down the toilet. I hit flush. It was gone. Haven't had it in 17 years. I just had my 17th birthday 4 days ago.
Nice.
So I'm on year 18. And 2-liter bottles of soda pop. Diet Pepsi, caffeine-free. So sure, it was diet and caffeine-free. It had to be healthy, right? No. I was drinking 3 of those a day. Took my last one, opened the bottle, poured it down the toilet, hit flush. I believe in symbolism. There's something about that. The toilet's where that stuff belongs. And then, for some reason, I quit eating red meat. I quit eating beef and pork. I said that I like chicken and turkey, and I perceived that those things were healthier, so I should just eat chicken and turkey and I could be perfectly happy, and I would do that. And it's very interesting that I did that because my father was a butcher, and I grew up in a house with unlimited free meat. And, for me to quit eating beef and pork, that was quite an accomplishment. But I did. Then I started walking. And I said, walking is going to be my exercise of choice. And the reason why I picked walking was because I felt like it, you didn't need a lot of special equipment. You could do it almost anywhere, anytime, and it wouldn't beat me up as much as other things. I mean, mind you, I was pretty sore then. My knees were hurting and everything, and I was almost 50. Well, I started doing that. By the time I turned 50, I lost about 50 pounds. Close to that, somewhere around that. Don't remember exactly. And I really started picking up my walking activities. And for the next 5 years, I started walking more and walking more. And then I got to a point where I said, I'm ready to make another push. See, that's one thing, another lesson to take from my story. It was not a straight line. I was not perfect. I made mistakes along the way. I had good days. I had bad days. But I did 2 things right. I got started and I did not stop. That's where your power comes. When you get started and you do not stop. Persistence, 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 persistence. This is my role model. My role model is the snail. Steady, diligent, persistent, get where they're going no matter how long it takes. That's what I am. I am Stanley the snail. I move slowly and I do not stop. I keep going, going, and going. So I said, I'm ready to make another push. And so I gave up chicken and turkey. I essentially went vegetarian. Started feeling better, getting more energy, increased my walking activities. But after about 5 years of that, I got to a point where I got down to about 180 pounds at my lowest. I was literally walking 10 to 15 miles a day.
Jeez.
And don't worry, I do more than that now. And I could not get my weight below 180. And sometimes I would go up to 190, 200, one stable. 180, 190, 200, 190, 200, 190, 180. And I couldn't get it below 180. And while I'm walking that much, I said, I'm doing something wrong here. So I analyzed what I was eating. And I said, I'm going to give up butter, cheese, and ice cream. And now people are saying, hey, Stanley, you just said something that you just said evil words, giving those things up. Well, so essentially I went vegan. Mm-hmm. But I was still eating processed food, which I do not do anymore. And we can talk about that also. But I lost 50 pounds in like 5 minutes. I mean, the weight I melted. And I got healthier and felt more powerful. And I actually got down to like 128 pounds. Jeez. And that was too low. But I needed to do that to get the fat off my body without surgery. And then since then, I put on about 15 or more pounds of muscle, not fat, muscle. Yeah, so that was better. So as I went through this whole experience, here's where it comes into why am I doing what I do now. I've always been a systems thinker. I said, how can I turn this into a system that can be replicated and that can help others? Well, so I started thinking. One of the first things I came up with was, I used to be a perfectionist, like so many people are. I was a 367-pound perfectionist, if that's not a little ironic, or a little hypocritical, whatever you want to call it. And I realized that perfection is not the way to go. We are human beings. We are not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. Don't even try. Instead, I try for excellence. The goal is not perfection. The goal is excellent, because when you're excellent, no matter how good you are, you can always get better. There's always a level higher. There's always a level deeper. You can always get better. And that's what you work toward. And I learned something else. Good enough is good enough. Doesn't mean you can't be better. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be better. But if you're doing good enough, praise yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Life beats us up enough as it is. Don't help it out. Come on. Yeah. And so I said, how can I put this into a system? I started asking myself, what are the qualities of an excellent human being? I came up with 14. Then I started applying this system to different situations I ran into in life. And I quickly realized that it was missing something, that I needed a 15th thing. So it became 15. And then it became 16. And then it became 20. And when I got to 20, it's been years. I haven't run into a situation that I couldn't cover by the 20 things that are in the system. So I think I've got it pretty comprehensive in that regard. And what are some of these qualities? Let's go through some of them. Okay, the first one is learning to tell it like it is. Don't BS yourself. That was what I did on that day, February 1st, 2009. I didn't BS myself. I said, I either need to change or I'm going to be dead. Yeah. That's as truthful as you can be. But it's not enough to be truthful to yourself. I also took action on what I told myself. You have to take action. Truth without action is nothing. Yep. Take action on that truth. And then I realized this is a long-term game that I'm playing. This is not something I'm going to do. I'd always thought dieting was something you do for 6 weeks or a month or 2 months or whatever. Nope. Something you do for the rest of your hopefully very long, hopefully very healthy life. So I started thinking long term, and I have become a really long term thinker. I'm 66. Don't know if I'm going to get there, but I have my next 100 years planned out. Seriously, I do. I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go. Because a lot of the things I want to do are going to take time. But I'm working on it. And I have a book on this. One of my books that's on my website that I'll tell you all about. You can download it for free. It's called The Way of the Long Term, where talk about how to develop a long-term perspective on life and the power that you gain from doing that. Then I took personal responsibility. I didn't blame my mother for dying when I was 8. I didn't blame my father for not teaching me how to eat and giving me all the crap I wanted to eat. I didn't blame my wife. I didn't blame my job. I didn't blame my family. I didn't blame anybody. I took personal responsibility. And while I was at it, I didn't blame myself. I did the best I could at the time with what I knew and what I had. Blame is irrelevant. Blame does not solve the problem. All that matters is figuring out what needs to be done and then doing it.
Yeah. Blame just becomes the excuse as to why you're not doing anything.
And I wish our politicians in Washington would learn that blame is irrelevant. Stop blaming each other. All that's doing is just wasting time and energy and messing things up. Get together, join together, figure out the problems, fix them. It's all that matters. And then I started embracing change instead of fearing it. Fear can either be forget everything and run, FEAR, or it can be face everything and rise, FEAR. Well, I learned to start facing everything and rising. Not perfect at it, but I work on it, and that's what I do. Then I learned perspective. Okay, I've just told you 5 things that I had to do, or that if you're listening, you have to do. Well, guess what? You don't have to do anything. You're breathing. You're alive. You get to do these things. It is your privilege to do these things, not your obligation. It is your privilege. Everything in life is a privilege. If you are breathing, you have the chance to fix things. If you're dead, guess what? You can't fix it. Too late. You missed out. As long as you're breathing, you can do it. You get to do these things. Perspective. And then vision. I started expanding my vision. I started envisioning the kind of world I wanted to live in, the kind of life I wanted to lead. Then you've heard of the Law of Attraction.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I came up with something called the Law of Reciprocity. See, I think the Law of Attraction has it wrong. It's not think positive thoughts and boom, it's all going to come to you. It's if I want health, I have to help other people become healthy. If I want wealth, if I want to become wealthy, I help other people become wealthy. If I want the world to be a better place, I help if I want to live in a world that has a better place, I help people make the world a better place. It's giving.
Yeah.
The law of reciprocity. You give. If we all would start giving to each other, guess what? Eventually someone's going to give something to you. You'll get it back. Yeah, so it's giving.
I agree with that. In my tradition, we focus on reciprocity, being an I-need, being balanced with everyone, giving and taking, being the partnership basically with everyone, helping others, and then things will come back to you as well. I'm not a big fan of the law of attraction of, if I just ask for something, it's going to come to me and not have to do anything for anyone else or...
Yeah. So it's now you touched on something. Ask me what I think the number one problem is in the world today.
Probably selfishness. Or do you want me to?
That's close. That's close to it. I say all too often, all too many of us only care about ourselves. And I guess that's selfishness.
Yeah.
It's time to change that. We can change that. We are in the process of changing that. It's just a very slow process. See, I think we are living in a crazy, messed up, incredible world. And it's up to us to make it a little bit less crazy and a little bit messed up, less messed up.
Yep.
And watch it become better. Then you have time, energy, and resources. How are you using your time, energy, and resources? Use them more efficiently. Are you using them toward things that you care about, your passions, your interests, your pursuits, or are you using them for somebody else's? Make sure you set aside time every day that is devoted solely to yourself, solely to the things that you want. Even if it's just 15 minutes a day, some me time.
Yep.
Anybody, I don't care who you are, anybody can find 15 minutes. Me, I spend hours every day devoted toward the things that I care about, but it didn't start out that way. That's what it's turned into, what it's developed into.
And I would say me time in the format of like growth, not just sitting on the couch watching Netflix.
Yeah, bingo.
Me time, like working on yourself or improving yourself.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. You're good point. You're absolutely right. Very good point. And then taking action that's consistent with your goals. I said for years I wanted to lose weight and get in shape. Then I'd go to Chinese buffets and sit on the couch.
Yep.
Eating and drinking. Well, guess what? That's not going to get me in shape and I'm not going to lose weight. So I started taking action that was consistent with what I said my goals were. Then I hit on this before, persistence. Get started, do not stop. Keep going, go, 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 go. Then go some more, then go, 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 go. If you fall off the wagon, get back up, keep going. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Keep going, going, going. Do not stop. Then there's integrity, kindness, authenticity, loyalty. Make sure you're acting with integrity. Don't be a hypocrite. Be kind, be good, be helpful to yourself and other people. Then there's respect. Respect for yourself and respect for others. I used to complain that people didn't respect me as much as I thought I wanted to be respected, all while I was walking around at 367 pounds. I was showing them an outward manifestation that on some level I didn't respect myself enough to take care of myself. Is it any wonder that I didn't get the level of respect I wanted from them? When I started getting in shape, lo and behold, people started respecting me. kind of funny how that works. And also, as far as respecting others, I learned something else. You don't respect someone else because they've earned the respect or because they deserve the respect. It's nice if they have earned it, and it's nice if they deserve it, but you respect someone else because it's a measure of your character, not theirs. You respect someone else because you are a person who respects life. You respect people. You respect animals. You respect everything. So respect. And then win-win. Learning to think win-win. In order for me to win doesn't mean you have to lose. And I'm a lawyer. That's a hard one for some lawyers to learn because they're taught, got to crush the other side. Well, I've made a living looking for win-win situations where everyone wins. Doesn't always work that way, but frequently it does. Then balance. When I say balance, what does balance mean to you?
I mean, balance is, it depends on, it's the same no matter which way, but it's like, the give and take. It's, if we talk about it in food, it's like some people will say with balance, it's, you can have a little bit of a snack, but don't overindulge in it. There's, balancing your work and your personal life. It's finding that middle ground that works for that situation.
I'm going to give you a definition you're going to want to write down, and you're going to and if you go to my website, this is concept number 15 in my system. I learned this in a Tai Chi class one day. Balance is identifying everything that's deficient and increasing it. Then it's identifying everything that's excessive and decreasing it. That's balance. And balance is not something you find. Balance is something you intentionally, consciously create. You want balance? Create it. I am fortunate I have been able to create an incredibly balanced life for myself. Increasing everything that's deficient, decreasing everything that's excessive. Go to too many Chinese buffets, stop going to Chinese buffets. Drink too much alcohol, stop drinking alcohol. Sit on my butt too much, get up and start walking. Eat too much crap, get up and start eating good food. All those kinds of things. And then we hit on what I call the 4 factors, 16, 17, 18, and 19. First one's willingness. Everything I've told you so far doesn't mean a damn thing if you're not willing. If you are not willing to permanently make positive changes for the rest of your hopefully very long, very healthy, very happy life, you have to be willing. But as I said before, you don't have to do anything. You get to be willing. It is your privilege. If you're not willing, everything else I've said, you might as well forget it because it's irrelevant. It ain't gonna matter. Then there's belief. Okay. I learned 2 things out of this experience of losing all the weight and keeping it off and walking. And first thing I learned is I am more powerful than I ever imagined. Way more. And I'm going to give you an example of how more powerful. I went from this to this. Since that day 17 years ago when I said I was going to start walking, you know how much walking I've done? I track it. I have walked 72,000 miles, 30% of the way to the moon. Last year alone, I walked 5,166 miles. Imagine I started in Los Angeles. I came within 300 miles of London, and I ended up in the middle of the Atlantic, so it's a good thing I know how to swim. And my goal this year is to make it to London. So that's how much more powerful than I ever imagined. You told me 17 years ago I'm going to do that. No, I can't do that. But it's because I started and I never stopped. And people say, why do I do this? First of all, because I'm a little bit nuts. I'll be the first one to admit that. Second of all, I do it because I can. I am still exploring where my limits are. I have not found them yet. My biggest limit is how much time do I have in a day? Mm-hmm. That's my biggest limit.
I was going to ask, how long does it take you to walk a mile?
I'm slow. I walk at 2.25 miles an hour.
Okay.
So, and I've walked 107 marathons over those 17 years. Jeez. I just walked one the other day on my 17th birthday. It takes me like 12 and a half hours to sit there and do that. But that's okay. I got the time. I'm going to do it. And that's one of the beauties of walking that much. When you walk as much as I do, you meet some very interesting people. And would you care to guess who the most interesting person you meet is? You know the answer.
I would say yourself.
You got it. Yourself.
Especially if you're walking without headphones or any other distractions.
Yep. You meet yourself. Walking is an incredibly powerful form of meditation. You meet yourself. So what I learned is I'm more powerful than I ever imagined. That's the first thing I learned. Second thing I learned is that if I am more powerful than I ever imagined, so is everyone else. I am no more powerful than you. I'm no more special than you. You are no more special than me. We are all special, each and every one of us. You are more powerful than you ever imagined. Learn that. Realize it. Remember it. Believe it. Because if you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way, you're going to be right. So now that you're armed with the knowledge that you're more powerful than you ever imagined, the question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? Now, number 18, discipline. Okay, and I don't mean punishment. I mean self-discipline. I mean, identifying all of your negative habits and getting rid of them. Gone. I mean, figuring out new positive habits, forming them and building them into your life. I said, I drink scotch every day. Done, gone, no more. I drink soda pop every day. Done, no more. I go to Chinese buffets every day. No more. I sit on my butt every day. No more. I'm going to start eating healthy every day. Yes, that is a new positive habit. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start walking every day. I put my clothes out on the nightstand every night, the night before. When I get up, the first thing I do when I get out of bed is I put on my clothes. I take the dog out, then I go stretch, then I get on the treadmill. Or I go outside walking. I do it. Depends on the weather.
Yeah.
You know, and I sit there and I go to the gym. I sit there and I do those things. But every day, it has been, out of the last 12 years, I have walked 2 hours or more every day except for 3 days. 8 years ago, I was sick for 3 days. And if you would have told, and that's the only time I've been sick since I turned vegetarian, not even vegan, vegetarian 12 years ago, I've only been sick one time. And that doesn't mean I've had colds, occasionally. But even during COVID, my wife brought COVID home. I felt it. I immediately sensed it the minute she got around me. For 2 days, I felt like I was 75%, not 100. Still got my walking then, and my body threw it off. Now, mind you, I did have the vaccines, and I think that didn't hurt me, that's for sure. But I think it's because of the nutrition and the healthy walking that I do. It's built up my immune system so much. So I discipline. I walk every day. I have days when I don't feel like walking. Guess what I do? I do it twice. It's discipline. It's who I am. I have become a different person. These two people have the same DNA, but they are not the same person. That's what you do. But that's what you're capable of. Form new positive habits and exercise them every day. Now I'm going to tell you how to make it easier. Commitment, number 19. When you become 100% committed to something, it becomes easier. You know why? Because you don't have to ask yourself, you don't have to keep asking yourself questions. Should I do this or should I not do that? I am 100% committed to eating healthy food every day. I have made a 100% commitment that no unhealthy food is going to enter my mouth. A week or two before Christmas, Laura I work with delivered gourmet cupcakes and cookies to my house. I didn't eat them. I didn't ask myself, can I eat them? Because I could have. I mean, if I ate a cupcake, it wouldn't kill me. I have no doubt that I could go right back to my positive habits and it wouldn't kill me. But I didn't ask myself, should I eat it? I didn't ask myself, should I eat a cookie? I said, I am a person who is 100% committed where only healthy food is going to enter my mouth. I gave them to one of my neighbors down the street who is skinny, who likes that kind of stuff. And she had them and she threw them in the freezer, ate them over time, which is why she's skinny, because she didn't eat them all at once. And like I would have in my old days. And so it's easier. I am 100% committed to walking every day. If I don't feel like doing it, I told you I'd go do it twice. Too bad. I don't feel like it. Tough shit. I don't feel like it. Too bad. I don't care. Go do it anyway. And that, again, is where the power comes from. It's easier when you're committed. Now, let's pull all of this together. I've just laid you out a big, long, complicated thing. Tied together. Let's integrate it. Integration of mind, body, and spirit. I know that's something you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I think that's key for a lot of things. It's not just about, the diet plays a big part in a lot of people's problems, for sure. There's a mental aspect, and then there's the spirit side too, and we all need to balance, every single part of ourselves.
Let me clarify something. My story is weight loss. Mm-hmm. Yours may be something totally different. My system is designed for no matter what it is you do. It is I call it a human operating system. It is Windows 11. It is Mac OS. It is Android for what it is to be an excellent human being.
Well, and I would say your story also has the spiritual side to it too, because you did have some ancestral healing.
Absolutely.
You helped yourself. You helped that little boy with his problems. Like, yeah, your focus has been primarily on food with this story, but there are other elements tied into that where if you hadn't done that ancestral work on the graveyard or with that young boy, you might not have been open enough to even start this journey as well.
No, correct. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Now, let's elaborate. This is the symbol that I have for the whole system.
Nice.
3 parts, yin yang, but with 3 parts, mind in red, body blue, spirit green. If you notice, inside each one of the individual parts, there's another 2-part yin yang. Inside the mind, it's green spirit, blue body. That's because the spirit and the body feed the mind. If you look inside the body, there's red and green. That's because the mind and the spirit feed the body. If you look inside the green, there's red and blue. That's because the mind and the body feed the spirit. And if you look in the very middle of the thing, you'll see a little figure in the middle. That's where you want to be. You want to be balanced between mind, body, and spirit. Now, let's think back to my concept 15 when I gave you the definition of balance. Increasing something that's deficient, decreasing something that's excessive. Okay? On this thing, when I started on my journey, I was all mind, totally mind, neglecting my body, and my spirit was suffering. I had to get in touch with my body. Mm-hmm. You could have other people, it could be their body and their mind is out of whack. Or it could be their spirit. And when I say spirit, I mean energy. That's what I think of it as. Your energy. The intangible is what I call spirit. Now, I had to get in touch with my body. So I started doing that. The walking, the eating, the nutrition got me in touch with my body. I learned to start listening to my body. It told me what it wanted. It told me what to do. I learned to start listening to it. And I started paying a little bit less attention to my mind. I mean, I was an attorney and a CPA sitting at a desk all day. That was 100% mind.
Yeah.
Or almost. So I started paying more attention to my body. And it got stronger. And as it did, my spirit got stronger. I started feeling better. My energy level rose. Everything got better. And eventually, over time, it taken me many years. It's been a process. I feel like I'm in the middle of that thing. Not all. Some days are better than others. And you move around from time to time, but that's okay. You learn, you do the best you can, and you work on it, and you constantly get better and better and better. I have a slogan: beat yesterday. That's your goal. You want to be better today than you were yesterday, better tomorrow than you were today. But you have to learn something about beat yesterday. Sometimes breaking even is beating yesterday. Mm-hmm. Sometimes falling apart, but not falling apart too bad, is beating yesterday. Yesterday I had a pretty crappy day. I was not happy with some stuff I was working on. And some people were nasty to me and I didn't like it. And it bothered me. But I handled it. I got through it. And I did something this morning where I have had an outpouring of love from dozens of people, love and appreciation from dozens of people. And that makes me feel good today. So, you just work on it. You don't stop. Keep going. And just pay attention to the 3 parts of your body. Go back all the way, go through the system. What's going on inside my body? Aware, become aware. That's number 1. That's why I made it number 1. Because if you're not aware, you can't do anything. The system has been put together intentionally in an order. This is what it looks like in chart form. This is all on the website. It's also on my wall behind me in big form. And you want to hear something funny? The system's called the way of excellence, right? Not the way of perfection. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what I discovered a couple of weeks ago? I discovered that one word in that whole big, lovely chart that's on my wall that I spent $100 for, and I've got another one in the other room. One word is misspelled on the chart. It's misspelled on all my websites. It's misspelled in all my books.
Is it excellence?
No, it's not. But I said, do I want to go back and correct that? And I said, no. Because it is the way of excellence. It is not the way of perfection. To go back and correct it would be making it the way of perfection. That's not what it is. That's not what I should do. I should be happy that it's only excellent, and I should leave it alone. And if somebody wants to have a little bit of fun, they can download the chart and put it on their website and spend an hour until they find the one word that's misspelled. But, so I thought it was kind of ironic that I noticed that. And so I decided to leave it the way it was. It was done intentionally. It was done accidentally on purpose, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, I tell clients that a lot too with, my thing was always don't let perfect be the enemy of good. So, I mean, it's,
you're right.
Perfectionism, excellence, it definitely resonates. And I do agree with your steps, having the truth in the matter, being able to look at yourself without blame and just say, no, this isn't working for me. This is wrong. Or not even wrong, just this isn't what I want, right?
It's not, and it's not optimal.
Yeah, it's not optimal. That's a better word for it. And it's so not blaming yourself, not shaming yourself, just, all right, now it's time to take action and make those changes. And again, like you said, this could be for anything, not just for weight loss. It could be a spiritual practice. I literally just had this conversation with a client yesterday about she was beating herself up because she wasn't doing her practice. She wasn't journeying every day. She wasn't doing the breath work that I taught her. And I was like, that's fine. Don't beat yourself up.
Start again.
Yeah. Start over, put it in a schedule, start small, start with one thing. I was like, what does your normal day look like? And she described sitting out on the porch every morning for 45 minutes watching the sunrise. She was smoking a cigarette and drinking a coffee. And I was like, that's a whole other thing. If you want to change, we can look at that. But for 45 minutes of not looking at your phone and only watching the sunrise.
Good
That's
job.
Spiritual. Yeah. Like do some breath work, take 2 minutes, add it into your daily practice now and just make those subtle changes. You called it, persistence. I like to just call it consistency, just keep being consistent. Yeah.
Well, see, step 10 of my system is taking consistent action.
Yeah, true.
And 11 is persistence. So yeah, I talk about consistency too. You're right. Absolutely. I agree with you. And you gave her great advice. Look, is sitting on the porch for 45 minutes, drinking your coffee, and you said smoking a cigarette, is that what you said? Is that what I would call ideal? No, I would not call that ideal. Personally, I would recommend you do neither of those things. But do I think that is a better practice than what 90% of other people do every day? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I think you should praise yourself for doing that? Absolutely. Continue doing it by all means. And I just told you in my story, I didn't start out on day one and say, I'm going to walk 15 miles today. I didn't start out on day one and said, I'm going vegan today with no processed foods. It's where I got. It's where I ended up.
Yeah.
And it also, I reflected the other day because I just had my 17th birthday 4 days ago, February 1st. And I said, what am I going to do next year? What am I going to do 17 years from now? That's another thing I learned is that if I'm capable of doing all these things, what else is out there waiting for me to do that I haven't done yet that I should be working on? Get to work, buddy.
Oh yeah, and it's those, like you said, you can't go full hog right off the bat because that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
I think you said, temporary change is temporary results.
Yeah.
Permanent change is permanent results, which is true. But it's those slow changes that get you there. Like you said, it's like, okay, I'm just going to cut these specific things out of my diet right now. Get used to it. I'm not going to eat at 3:00 in the morning. And then later on, you're like, okay, now I'll do this. Now I'll do that. It's those slow change always works best.
Let me put it a different way. February 1st, 2009, my rebirthday, the day I changed my life. I was 49 years and 8 months old. Did it take me 49 years and 8 months to change my life? Or did I change my life in an instant? Care to take a guess?
I would say, you didn't change your life in the 49 years and 8 months. You changed it when you made that decision. But at the same time, it was the slow acts that you did after making the decision that truly changed your life. Having the decision to change it is not the same as, committing, and taking action and changing. You had the idea.
Here's what I say. I say it took me 49 years and 8 months to get ready to change my life in an instant. And then I changed my life in an instant. My goal, and what I teach people to do is, it doesn't need to take you 49 years and 8 months. Mm-hmm. Skip all that part and just jump to the change your life in an instant. That's why I put it into a system. Now, don't get me wrong. Would I change some of the things I went through in those years? Yes, I would. Do I have any regrets for what I went through? No, I don't. Because all those things, all those experiences were necessary to teach me what I have learned, to turn me into the person I am now, the person I have become. And I happen to think the person I am today, I love that person. I'm proud of that person. I think I'm a good person. And I've got good work to do. And I'm out there doing it. And it was necessary for me to go through that to learn those things. It's the way it worked out. But because I've learned those things, I can help you short circuit the process. Jeremy can help you short circuit the process. He obviously has done a lot of heavy thinking, and he's got a pretty good idea of what's going on. By the way, I like your drum in the background.
Thank you.
It just caught my eye. But listen to it. Listen to me. You're more powerful than you ever imagined. Your lady who was criticizing herself or unhappy. Hey, you've got this, lady. This is your time. Go get it.
Yep.
And remember, you're not perfect. Don't have to be. You're not going to be. So don't beat yourself up. Just keep going. Beat yesterday. You had a bad day yesterday? Beat it today.
Yep.
Bad day today, beat it tomorrow. That's your goal. And if you do that, I am now in year 18. I just started year 18 of beating yesterday. That is how I was able to go from this to this. That is how I've been able to walk 72,000 miles in 17 years. That is how I was able to walk 5,166 miles last year. That is how I was able to come up with this system and put it together. That is why I am talking to you today. It's been a process. And you have the rest of your hopefully very long, very healthy, very happy life to do it. Does that make sense?
Oh, no, I agree 100%. Like it's important that we look at ourselves, we do the work, we figure out the change that we truly want, and we work on it. It's important that we do that. A lot of people sit in that victim triangle mode where they just blame others and they blame themselves and they don't take action to make change.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Guilty. Yeah. Doesn't do anything. See, part of the problem too is that we're constantly told that changing your life is hard. No. Everything I do today is not hard when you compare it to what I did with this.
Yep.
Walking around at 367 pounds every day, that was hard. What I do now is easy compared to that. And I'll give you a story where I put it in perspective. A couple of years ago, I was at Costco. I was buying bird seed. I bought 4 50-pound bags of bird seed. I put them on a cart. So there was 200 pounds of bird seed on the cart. And I'm schlepping this thing through Costco because the bird seed's all the way in the back of the store. And I'm going all the way through the store, and I'm huffing and puffing while I'm pushing this thing. And I paid for it, and I'm going out the door, and I'm going to my car, huffing and puffing. And a thought hit me. There's 200 pounds on this thing. I used to carry more than that on my body all day, every day. Good Lord. And it hit me. And I was like, I started laughing. And I said, this is great, to sit there and do that. It's the visualization process, the realization process. We're incredibly powerful people, but we're constantly fed limiting thoughts. Mm-hmm. We're told things are hard. We're told that we can't do things. We're constantly told the negative. Well, start using the word can, stop using the word can't. Start focusing on the positive, stop focusing on the negative. Start focusing on the good, stop focusing on the bad. Engage in positive self-talk, stop with the negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is limiting thoughts, or as Zig Ziglar used to call it, stinking thinking. It is. Don't do that. Realize how powerful you are. And when you make a mistake, just remember, mistakes are proof you're trying. Mm-hmm. Pick yourself up, keep going. I don't know how we're doing on time. Well, I mean, that's most of what I have. I've got more we can talk about if you want to. But
we're still good. I just had a few questions too that I want to follow up with the. So let's sticking with the. I don't want to call it diet, but lifestyle change with food choices. Someone who's listening to this that's saying, oh yeah, I do need to change. I'm 300 pounds. I'm 350 pounds. I'm working 2 jobs to survive. I have 4 kids I got to take care of. I can't go walking 15 miles a day.
You don't have to.
Well, that's what I was getting at. What is a good starting point?
Here's what I advocate. If you're at a point like that, I tell people, first of all, you don't have to do what I do. Mm-hmm. I do what I do because I can. The world does not need another Stanley. It already has one, but it does need the best you, the optimal you. So what I would tell you to do is, first thing I would tell you to go to my website. Which is right here. You can put this in the show notes. We will. Wayofexcellence.com. Thewayofexcellence.com. Go there. The whole system is there. I have 8 books you can download for free. It's my gift to you. It is my way of giving back, no strings attached. And it's free for a couple of reasons. 1, you may not have the money. 2, the mission I am on is more important than the money. Doesn't mean I don't like money. Doesn't mean I don't want money. But the mission's more important than money. I don't want money to be a barrier because money is not part of the object. It makes the message more pure. Mm-hmm. So many of the messages we get is people trying to sell us stuff.
Yep.
Well, I'm not asking you for money. I don't intend to ask you for money. If you want to hire me to work with you privately, you're welcome to do that, but you don't have to. All that stuff is there for free. It's my way of giving back. I have been incredibly blessed. I am incredibly fortunate to have the life I have. And so it is my privilege to give back to you. Download some of my books. That will help you on the mindset part. But there's also at the bottom, there's a link. It says, if you're interested in weight loss, click here. That will take you to my sister website called the Million Pound Weight Loss Challenge. And what that comes from is that's the goal is I set a goal. I believe in big, hairy goals. I set a goal kind of like your beard. I set a goal that I want to help 50,000 people or more lose 20 or more pounds each in a healthy manner with no drugs or surgery. I do not believe if someone's on the weight loss drugs, I'll support them and I'll help them, but I don't believe it's necessary. No. I don't believe it's good for you.
Things are dangerous.
Yes. If someone's had weight loss surgery, I'll support them, but I don't believe it's good for you either. I don't think it's necessary. We don't need to mutilate our bodies. We need to get in touch with our bodies. Go to that website, create a free account. You have to sign up. It's a free account, no money. But the reason why you have to sign up is I wanted to be able to regulate who goes on there and what they do on the website, simply because I wanted to create a safe space. Mm-hmm. I did not want to create a place where trolls could go to make fun of people who are trying to lose weight. Yeah. Last thing I wanted to do. So there's a ton of advice on there. And starting with learning to create a new identity for yourself. 10 things that I've identified as common things that prevent you from losing weight: too much sodium, too much added sugar in your diet, not enough fiber, lots of things like that. But all that lots of good information, lots of challenges, ways to get started. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you 3 simple things that you can do. I don't care who you are. These are 3 things you should be able to do. If you're halfway able-bodied, you can do these 3 things. First one is eat less processed food. By processed food, I mostly mean junk food, fast food, but I also mean stuff like, stuff that comes out of cans, stuff that's,
box mixes,
boxes, yeah. Stuff. If it's a plant, you want to eat it. If it came from a plant, you don't want to eat it. That's a general rule. But I'm not telling you to totally give up processed food. Just eat less of it. Mm-hmm. Less of it. Less garbage, less junk. And I'm going to tell you a little secret about fast food. Do you know what you get when you take the S out of fast food? Fat food. Or as they say, whoever put the S in fat food was a marketing genius. They turned it from fat food to fast food. So eat less processed food. Less. I'm not saying totally stop. Less. It took me, 10 years before 11 years before I totally gave up processed food. I learned. I figured it out the hard way. I'm telling you, so less of it. Okay? Stop eating 5 hours or more, 5 hours before you go to sleep. You go to sleep at 11, stop eating by 6. Go to sleep at 10, stop eating by 5. Don't take your food to bed with you. Don't eat snacks at night. That's right there. You get less processed food. Stop eating 5 hours before you go to sleep. And then now, if you're able-bodied, walk 20 minutes a day. And if you can't do 20, do 10. If you can't do 10, do 5. Do what you can. Do something, walk. And when I started out, I had trouble walking 2 blocks. Now I walk 10. Now it's been over a year that I've walked a half marathon or more every day. It's what I've built up to. And I'm a little nutso, but I enjoy it. It's meditative for me. It is my meditation. Now, if you would do those 3 things, no less processed food, quit eating 5 hours before you go to sleep, and walk 20 minutes a day. Okay. If every able-bodied person in America would do that, what do you think would happen to healthcare costs in this country?
They would definitely go down.
They would plummet. We would put doctors out of business. We would put pharmaceutical companies out of business. don't get me wrong, I have nothing against doctors. If I get run over by a truck, please take me to the emergency room, please. But that's said and done, I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure I don't get run over by a truck. and by doing those things I suggested, you're doing the same thing. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. And I'm going to say diet is a funny word. Okay. Diet is not just the food you put in your mouth. It's the thoughts you put in your head. It's the people you hang around. It's, it's everything.
That's stuff you watch on TV.
It's the environment you create for yourself. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying don't have fun. Okay. Using your time wisely. You mentioned TV, internet. Mm-hmm. I watch TV pretty much every day before I go to sleep. 20 minutes. That's it. I limit it. I go on Instagram and I doom scroll for 5 minutes, not for hours. I don't do TikTok at all because I find it to be an empty wasteland. but that's my opinion. I mean, yours may be different.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, okay. But put appropriate limitations on it, and I'm going to teach you something else. I have what you call an addictive personality, but I have eliminated all of my negative addictions and replaced them with positive addictions. But I've learned something else. Sometimes abstinence is better than moderation. Can I go drink a shot of scotch right now? Yes. Would I relapse if I had a shot of scotch right now? I don't think so. But I shouldn't do it. I don't need it. Refraining from it, abstinence is better than trying to moderate it. It's also easier. Could I have eaten one of those cupcakes I told you about? Yeah, I could have. But I'm better that I don't. I don't need it. I don't miss it. Plus, looking at it, I know what a cupcake tastes like. I've had a gazillion of them in my lifetime, along with donut. I've eaten my lifetime share of cupcakes, your lifetime share, and 20 other people's lifetime share. I don't need more. Yeah. It's time for new experiences. That's one thing millennials get right. They care a little bit less about stuff, and they care more about experiences. Go for some new, positive, healthy, happy experiences. That's what it's all about.
I would agree.
Did that in a roundabout way answer your question?
Oh, yeah. No, those are all good points. That's similar to what I tell people. It's, I tell people the best thing you can do when you're first starting out is eat as fresh as you can. If you can't afford organic, at least get as fresh as you can, because depending on where you're at, I mean, an organic apple today at Safeway was like $5 a pound. That's expensive. It's like people can only afford so much. So it's like, eat as fresh as you can.
Yeah, on that note, here's my new hydroponic garden that I have in my house. Yes. Yeah. So far I've gotten 2 salads out of it. So they've cost $500 each. but there's a lot more stuff growing, and I'm going to get a lot more food out of it. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I know. And that was the other point. If you can grow stuff, try to grow stuff, even if it's small, but fresh as much as possible. Get rid of the processed food as much as possible, but don't shame yourself if you have to do it. You're on a trip, kids are hungry, everybody's yelling, everybody needs to eat. You didn't pack the right amount of food. Do what you got to do, right?
But plan ahead. If you plan ahead.
If you can plan ahead,
reduce the chances of that happening.
No, I agree.
I mean, I used to tell my wife, you carry a purse, don't you? I said, always carry a bag of raw nuts in your purse. Don't need to be refrigerated. You can eat them anywhere you're at.
That's true. Yeah, simple things like that people can do just to have with them. But yeah, it's, I fully agree. It's, and I'm not perfect either. My biggest habit I had to break was eating ice cream right before bed. And I was like, all right, this isn't working for me.
Delicious. You know what's funny is You said eating ice cream before bed. I just tasted it.
Hmm.
When you said that, the taste sensation immediately popped in my mouth, but I didn't eat it.
Yep.
And I bet it popped into your mouth too. Can you taste it right now?
Oh, yeah. If we had it, I would eat it, but that's why I don't bring it in the house anymore.
Good. Smart man. You learned. You learned. You made mistakes and you learned from your mistakes.
Yep.
Whoa, what do you know? Novel concept. Learn from your mistakes.
And again, no place of shame or blame. It just is what it is. It's not good for me because I was gaining too much weight too, and I had to pull back and really look at what I was doing. And I haven't lost as much as you, but I'm getting there.
Well, go to my website and stay in touch with me. We'll help get you there.
All right. Well, I do appreciate your time, and I do hope people reach out and look at your website, get your books and all that good stuff. This was, and again, I think your methodology with the way of the excellence, it can be for everything. It's not just about weight loss and
that's the message.
Eating. It can be used for your spiritual path. It can be used for your mental path. Like you said, mind, body, spirit. It is all connected, and it's very important that we look at all three aspects of that.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.